We're here with Leslie and Jill, and they do fantastic healing work. And where are you right now?
We're in Newark, Nottinghamshire, sitting in my healing room.
Fantastic. Tell us a bit about what you do, Leslie.
I basically do a lot of teaching. I teach, I've done a lot of Chung Fu's work, spiritual development, and done quite a few groups. And I've formed my own group, and I do a lot of healing that I call causal healing, and do a lot of that.
That's fantastic. And yourself, Jill?
I've done a lot of Chung Fu's work. I'm in Leslie's groups. I do readings, I do healings, a bit of everything, Jerome.
And the
Anything
dragons?
to do with spirituality, I do it.
Yeah, and you love the dragons, don't you?
I love the dragon. I had a lovely white dragon last night, Jerome.
Oh, beautiful. Great.
Yes.
We're gonna ask you some questions today, all centered around the phrase "friends in high places." And we love our friends in high places, don't we, in the spirit world? All right, well, question one is, and what I'll do is I'll ask you a question, Leslie, and then I'll ask the next question of you, and we'll work like that. So,
okay, yeah, however you want to work it.
When and how did you first discover that you have guides, Leslie?
I started really doing this work when I was about 47, so a few years ago. And my very first guide was my gatekeeper, my beautiful gatekeeper. And I started feeling him having sensations of stroking on the face, it started. And bearing in mind I'd not done any of this kind of work before, and so it was quite comforting just to feel, this. It was a bit strange, but it was just lovely feeling this sensation. Then the more that I started to connect with him, he started coming more in my heart, and that was just beautiful.
When was this?
This was when I first started. So I've been doing this work for about 11 years. And so, about 11 years ago, he was the first one that came forward. Then I found out a lot about him, about my past life with him. I found out a lot when I went to see Chung Fu, which was about a year or so later. And he's always been there for me. So he was my first guide.
So when he came forward to you, I mean, were you already on a spiritual path, or?
I'd only just started. I'd done a Chung Fu self-development group with a friend of mine, Julia, and she helped me through that connecting with him.
That's beautiful. So, yes. Thank you, Leslie.
And then when I went to see Chung Fu, he told me that then all my other guides were angels.
Amazing. Well, we'll get onto that in a minute. So, right. Jill, can you feel the presence of your guides? And are there times when you feel them more strongly?
Oh, God, yeah, I can definitely feel the presence of them. The times when I feel them more strongly, it's almost like they're there all the time. But when I feel them most strongly, it's definitely in meditation. And it's almost like... how can I explain? It's a bit hard to explain. When I'm in meditation, obviously they come in then, but it depends on which one I need, if you know what I mean. It's like having a library of lots of them, if you know what I mean. But my gatekeeper, he always gives me which one is meant. But it depends. I'm like walking out in the woods, you know what I mean, as you well know. The fairy beings, the pixie beings, the albion beings, they'll come, if you know what I mean. I can be sat watching the telly and all of a sudden I've got a giant dragon coming up. There's all different things.
How does that work for you? I mean, do you sense them first in energy, or do you see them as well?
Yeah, I see them, smell them. It depends. Sometimes it can be a smell, and it's like, straight away, it's normally spirit that's a smell, if you know what I mean. I'll get a smell, like with my grandma, it's always to do with baking. Wow. As soon as I smell bacon, it's my grandma, and then I have to get up and bake. It's like she comes in, takes over, and I bake.
Okay.
the dragons, that's a real energy force. That is, it's like, and it sometimes makes me want to sort of, as if I'm breathing fire.
Yeah, tell us about that. Like, how did that first start for you?
It knocked me for six. I wondered what it were, Jerome. And it was literally like, and I was well and truly grounded. And then all of a sudden it was like something opened up in the earth, if you know what I mean. And then it's very hard to explain a knowing, but it's like, you know what your name is. You know who you are. And all of a sudden I just knew it was a dragon. And then it was like, I'm a dragon. What
was your life like before you realised you had this guide connection, this ally, this ancestry?
I've always, right from being little, Jerome, I've always had spirit around me. I had because my granddad passed while I was being born, and I've always had him and tons of gut instinct. But as a child, I was going against the gut instinct, if you know what I mean. It kept coming more and more, and then unbeknown to me, I must have closed it off. And it was when my grandma passed in 2008 that all this stuff started happening. There was tons and tons started happening. And then thanks to my cousin Lynn, she introduced me to Leslie, who then obviously with Chung Fu, it's come then. And my life before, I felt very detached. Now it's like, wow, now I've met me. I'm who I was, my true self, if you know what I mean. And it's completely different, completely transforms your life. And it's that unconditional love feeling. Nobody else can give you that love that they give you. And it's that knowing that somebody's always there, chance whether you turn into a tree or whether you've got dragons or whether it's angelic or spirit. It's just so, you are never, ever alone.
That's
never.
Fantastic, Jill. Thank you. And Leslie, how has your relationship with your guides and the spirit world changed over the years? And how did you grow the connection stronger?
I think they've definitely changed over the years, and you're right, it did grow stronger. I think one of the great ways is crystals. I work with a lot of crystals. I've got some beautiful crystals that I work with. In my healing room, it's just absolutely full.
Yeah, I can see a few crystals in the background there in Buddha and Chung Fu.
I've got tables full of them, and I think they're so important as a tool to use to help, with that, sort of connection. So, yeah, crystals have certainly helped. I think one of the main things, when you start to work with Chung Fu, he brings forward all the different kinds of beings. It's like Jill said, that library. And he opened my world to all these different kinds, of beings.
How was that for you when it first happened in your sessions? How would you describe that?
At first, obviously it was a bit daunting. I sort of hadn't heard of starseed beings, didn't know what they were or what to expect. But when I first started working with Chung Fu, I felt such a connection with him, and I just knew that it felt right. And so it sort of, I just tried to let go. Yeah, it is a process, and you start thinking, you get, all that really are the beings, sort of up there.
Because Chung Fu's a gatekeeper guide, isn't he? So he has the ability to contact beings that are working with you. Yeah. And so what was the first being that came forward to you?
Oh, now that's a good question, Jerome. That's going back some.
As in the angels or, the starseed beings. Over the years, especially working with Jill, we have connected to so many you wouldn't believe. Even with the starseed beings, we've even given them names. I remember once connecting to these beautiful beings that we called little love beings.
Little love beings. They look like fluffy little puffer fish. But they weren't puffer fish, but that's what they look like. It's trying to describe what they look like, but it's light form, and they were like, we called them love beings, didn't we?
Yeah, and the weirdest experiences, but you've just got to learn just to let go, and I think when you've got that faith and belief, and I knew that we were safe.
Yeah,
Well, you'll love this
that's the
next
biggest
question
thing.
here. Have you experienced the presence of angels and star beings in your life, as you've said you have? And how
Yes.
do they show themselves to you?
Oh, many different ways, Jerome.
Yeah.
Many different ways. I see them. The best way I can explain it is coloured light form.
Yeah.
Mm.
A bit like, you know, the aurora borealis, a bit like that. But it's also, I've even experienced when they've come in, it's almost like you are so full of that whatever light they give you, and then all of a sudden you'll just get this knowing of a colour. Sort of thing, you know what I mean? Such a lovely warm feeling they give you, but it's also that, like with Raphael, because I work a lot with Raphael, and oh god, it's that warm, it's like almost like it's hugging you.
What
You know
colours?
I mean?
What colours do you see with Raphael?
Green, beautiful bottle green.
Yeah.
Oh, really? But it's such a, you won't get that colour here. If you know, if you're looking around your room trying to match the colour, you can't. It's such a vibrant, but it's a bottle green, and it's just stunning, and it's almost alive. It's what I call an alive colour. And I've even seen them in my garden, and then it comes like a mist. It's, you know what I mean? They'll appear like a mist in the garden, because I've said to you when we've been on the phone, it's like, oh my God, I've looked out my window and my garden's just full of them. But the colours they give you are so, they're so beautiful, and it makes you want to sort of look and feel at them more, because I actually, and we both said this, the feeling of them is more important than actually the seeing of them.
Yes.
But we understand.
Do you have any ways that you call them in? I mean, how does it? How do you work with them? How do you call? What's your process of calling?
I think it is a
process.
It is a process, and it's just that connecting in, calling them in. That is so important, that that you're opening yourself up. Opening your light body, because obviously without opening your light body, they can't come in. So the more light that you are sort of emanating to your light body.
So that's kind of the first section of the process, is you open up, you allow you open your chakras, and
and then call them in, even if you do it individually by name.
Do you call them do you call them aloud or in your mind?
In my mind.
Yes.
At the beginning, it was in the mind.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. I mean, now don't even use the names; they're there. But obviously, at the beginning, it's almost like you need something to either be a visual or to signify each one. And I think it's learning to know. Same as like with Raphael, in your head. I used to say, Archangel Raphael, please show yourself to me. And once I got used to what his feeling was inside, then I moved on to another one.
It was like
you build it up.
That's why I brought forward they helped me to bring forward some angel cards. And these angel cards aren't really meant for sort of reading. They're meant to help people connect to them.
Beautiful.
Because one of the main things that they gave,
what are they called? What's it called?
They're called archangelic guidance cards.
That's it.
Yeah, archangelic guidance cards.
Nice. Where can people get those?
They can get them.
From you.
Yeah, from me.
You took them back off. You took them back off finger, didn't you? Then
yes.
You put them back on.
Yes. I did have them on. I think they're still on Amazon.
Oh,
you
are
can
they?
still get them on Amazon. Yes.
Well, here's the last question, ladies. So, do you have any rituals or practices that make you feel closer and more strongly connected to your guides?
Meditation.
Yes. Without a doubt.
Meditation, without a doubt.
What sort of meditation?
I've been meditating for 10 years every single day, and I've never, ever missed a day, Jerome.
And that's obviously, that's such a broad term, isn't it? So what sort of constitutes meditation for you, ladies?
Quiet time.
Yes.
It's what I call my me time, quiet time. I'll sit, basically, a nice piece of music. I always like 3 candles, and then I just let go. Just go, basically, and that's when it all starts to happen. And sometimes if I'm a bit, ain't got a lot of time, it might be 20 minutes. Sometimes it can be 2 hours, Jerome. It depends.
a part of my teaching is, I like to call it me time. And it doesn't matter whether you just go for a walk within the woods, have a bath, whatever way that you feel. It's just sort of, it's about intent.
Yeah.
Everything is about intent. And it's just having that intention to say, look, I'm here. I want to connect. I want to.
It's dedication as well, isn't it? It's showing. It's also showing to them that you are dedicating that time for them.
So
say like
you've obviously been meditating for a fair few years now.
Yeah.
What's different about your meditations now than, say, when you first started trying to meditate?
We can just close our eyes and go, just like that.
Just go. It's like that. It's like, shall we do it now? Go on.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's great.
It's about practicing it, isn't it? It's about the practices.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for coming and being with us today.
No problem.
And I'm sure that everyone's going to love to watch this. We look forward to seeing you soon. Where can people find out more about what you ladies do?
Yeah, can we just say that, Chung Fu has changed our lives.
Completely.
We love him so much, we really do. And we haven't got the words to thank him.
Yeah, there are no words to thank him.
And he really has changed, our lives.
It's the best universal granddad ever.
Yes, and that's how we see him as a granddad.
And I too, I'd have to agree. I mean, I don't know where I'd be without his help and support.
That's what we say.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Feel very honoured and very privileged.
So where can people do yourselves have any websites or any social media accounts? Where can people find out more about you?
Jerome, not technical.
No, that's cool. No worries. Well, I'm sure. I think you're going to be writing a book soon, isn't that right, Jill?
Well, I don't know, Jerome. It's still in the process.
Great. Well, that's good to know. And yourself, Leslie?
Yes, I've got an idea of to do something. I'm sort of want to develop my group and want to connect out more with other groups, as well. That's what sort of is important for me, and to make people realise how important it is to be in a group, to come together.
Nice.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
You have a website yourself, Leslie?
Yes. Well, no, not anymore.
No.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes. I've got my own website, which is my personal one.
Okay. What's that?
It's is that what you call a website? No, it's not a website, is it? No.
What are you asking me for?
I know, yeah.
Technical.
That's all right. Don't you worry. Well, I mean, if people want to,
yeah, they can go through you.
And then you can pass it to us.
That's right. Yeah, if people want to get in touch with me and find out more about Leslie's healing work and Jill, then do get in touch.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a pleasure, lovelies.
Lovely, darling. Big love.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so I'll edit that later. And that's one video. Well done. The next one is Voices of the Soul. So feel free to make the questions a bit shorter if you're running short of time, ladies. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. As long as we get something to eat, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I'll do the introduction again. Okay. Hey everyone, we're here with Leslie and Jill.
Hi Jerome.
Hi Jerome.
And we're going to be talking about the phrase Voices of the Soul. So, first question to you, Leslie, is how has Chung Fu helped you understand your personal spiritual development and your soul's evolution?
Right. One of the most important things to say is that without Chung Fu, I wouldn't be where I am today. He's totally changed my life. And so really through his self-development, I did did a self-development course, group one, his course, about 10 years ago, and I've never looked back. So he's helped me through that. And then obviously I was so taken by these groups, so believed in them, so believed in what he was trying to achieve, his work, that I asked if I could run, my own group and do, sort of the groups where I live. I live in up north in a place in Nottinghamshire that's near Newark. And I felt there was nothing like that kind of thing up here. And so for me, it was important that I bought it up here and tried to help the people, up here.
That's fantastic.
So, and then through his CDs, his journeys, and also one of the biggest things was this privilege of being able to go and see him, to have that one-to-one. I don't think there's anyone else, that you can go and do that with. It's so unique, and what you get from it is absolutely incredible. You can ask him anything, and he guides you in such, the most beautiful way, and helps you to understand what's happening to you, what's going off, your past lives. So for me, he's been sort of the kingpin of all of, my self-development of what I've been doing.
Mine too, exactly the same.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, cannot thank him enough.
So, Jill, next question. There are many ways to connect with your soul. What is your favourite way?
Oh, Jerome. Oh, there's lots. Again, through meditation, definitely through meditation, but through the heart, mainly through the heart. It took me a while to realise that's where everything was, because you tend to, at the beginning, you tend to try and separate everything. And then when you realise that that's where your soul is, within the heart, it's like, oh, you beauty. And when my inner child comes in, it's like what I call buzzing. It's like I'm like wired, and it's like, yes, and I love it. It's absolutely, it's the best feeling in the world.
That's beautiful, Jill. Leslie, have you experienced soul retrieval? And if so, could you describe some of what that experience is and its meaning to you?
Yeah, for me, soul retrieval, it's all about the splitting of the soul by some sort of trauma. And I think we, in this life, in past lives, we've all been through all different kinds, of trauma, and, which causes an aspect of you to, to split off. And one of my ones where I did retrieve back was, and I did it with Chung Fu. And when you go and see Chung Fu, he does healing with you, and you just never know that it's going to happen. But it's almost like your soul's ready. Your soul's ready to retrieve, that particular part back. So he really helped me to, to bring that forward. And this particular one was, I was a seer in Egypt to a pharaoh. It was actually Ramesses IV. And he wasn't a pharaoh for very long. I think he was only a pharaoh for about 6 years. And in those times, when the pharaoh died, all his entourage are actually buried with him and buried alive. And because I was his seer, unfortunately, I knew that I had to be buried alive, and apparently it was horrific death because, you're starved of water, food, and most importantly, air. And it was quite an horrific death. And the anger, of being made to, sort of the injustice of being put to death in that way was, so horrific. And, sort of as I was on my last breath, I was so angry that they were doing it to me. In fact, I tried to escape at one time, but they brought me back. And that anger, sort of as I passed over, obviously caused, some part of my soul to split. So that was what I had to retrieve. But, in that retrieval, the emotion, even the anger, I think the anger came first. And, really.
So it must have been pretty huge then to realise what was possible in terms of soul retrieval.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Massive.
Yeah, massive. It explains a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of explanation in it when it comes through. It's like, oh, right, I get it. That's why we're feeling that anger. But it's same as like if all of a sudden you may meet somebody and you think, oh, why do I feel a bit off with them? Why do I feel this anger? More than likely, you've had a past life together and there's been a trauma in that past life. And then when you get the understanding of it, it's like, oh, right. Same as if you get a feeling that you don't like water. You know what I mean? You're frightened of water. You've never been in it, but you're frightened of water. More than likely, in a past life, you've perhaps drowned. And it's the explanation of that.
One of the things I will say with that, what you go through, and what you feel afterwards, you feel
that love.
You just feel as though a big weight's been lifted off you. You feel amazing. So all that you've gone through so outweighs,
what you get after far outweighs what you've had to go through.
That's
and
amazing.
It's, when you're in, sort of with people that you're in a safe place, and that you can, let go,
sound it out.
Yes, it's just so important.
Thank you, Leslie. And Jill, what would you understand by the phrase "the voices of your soul"?
Oh, now, Jerome, there's many voices of the soul. What I understand of this with my personal voices of the soul is, if say like, which I've just talked about, if you get that feeling of, oh, why am I feeling frustrated? It is your soul showing you an area of, this is what needs clearing. Because sometimes it isn't obvious, if you know what I mean. And when it keeps coming up, that's when you listen. It's like, hang on a minute. Because it's not always a message that gets put in your head like, hello, you've not ticked this one off today. It's the feelings that's in you. You could have like, all of a sudden you're feeling really emotional. And it's like, so it's the voice will come in and that feeling of, this is why you're feeling emotional. So it's not all roses, it's actually, I find, Jerome, the gut instinct, and it's in them dark places that your soul speaks the loudest. So there is many forms of the voice of the soul, but they are all there to teach you something. And it's all it's teaching about is that self-love. At the end of the day, it's just that self-love. And I think that's the hardest thing. We can love other people, but how often can we say, I truly love myself?
Can you tell us maybe an experience you've had, Jill, where you've experienced something, coming through from a part of the voice from within?
I've had many. My biggest one, I'm actually still doing it now, and it's to do with the masculine. Had a lot of connect with the feminine, not a problem, but the masculine through, obviously in this lifetime, with my ex-husband, had a lot of not nice things happen from the masculine side, and it's been very hard to sort of understand that they don't mean it. They don't know why they're doing it. And I've just done a big one regarding to do with my dad. Although I had a brilliant childhood, felt really detached. And I've just only, we're on Saturday? Thursday, done that with my dad. All of a sudden, I'm in meditation and my dad popped into my head. He's quite an ill man. And it was the most profound experience. And it's like I was with him in his bedroom. And I was sat with him. And I was doing the Ho'oponopono. I'm sure you can explain what that is, Jerome, to everybody. Doing the Ho'oponopono with him, and I took full responsibility of all that hurt.
That's
that pain.
the Dr. Hulien practice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was doing that.
We do that so much. It's such one of the most powerfulest tools you can use. And it's amazing.
When I'd done it, all of a sudden, I felt myself climb at the side of him and lay down, and it was like he was holding me. And I sobbed buckets, but of beautiful tears, because that love that I'd been searching for came in, and it's starting to come in. You know what I mean? And it's such a bit, and I feel like I don't know. It's hard to explain how different you feel. It's like,
was that like the voice of your inner child coming forth to try and find forgiveness?
Yes, exactly that, Jerome. And it was almost like the masculine side of my inner child. Do you know what I mean? Because, I've worked on the feminine side of my inner child. And because I'm a feminine, a girl, didn't think about the masculine. And then it's like, I've got a little masculine side out there, so it's fetching him back, if you know what I mean. And it's such a beautiful experience.
Oh, that's very valuable, Jill. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll move on to the next question. Just two more left. Leslie, what have been the benefits of working with your spiritual self-development, and how do you feel different as a result of committing to spiritual practice in your life?
Oh, I feel so different. A lot of time you can't put it into words, but it's just feeling a totally different person.
Yeah.
It's totally changed my life. I feel I've got greater wisdom and understanding. It's like I've got a passion to want to learn more. I'm like a sponge. I just want to learn how everything works and how it all is.
A kid in a candy shop.
Yes. It's made me more aware of especially what the beauty around us.
Yeah.
It's made me have more respect for Mother Earth. And, that's a biggie thing for me. I think you get so blasé, about what is around you. And that's really made me open my eyes and centered to me, to what is happening, what is going off, and especially, in these times. To be more grateful in all things. You just can't thank enough for what's happening in your life.
It's a blessing.
It is.
Everything's a blessing.
To be more kind to my body. It's, I've become a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Trying to, keep my body in better shape, looking after my body more, being aware of, it's important to look after your physical body. Understanding of others, having more compassion and empathy.
Yeah.
So that really comes forward, especially when you're doing healing, being lighter, bringing in the light. That's really totally changed. I just feel, sometimes I'm full. Yeah, it's like you just feel, yeah.
What about you, Jill?
And being more open-hearted. Just opening and being more of love and
knowing you're at one with everything.
Yes.
That's a real big thing, knowing you're at one with everything.
And learning, the biggest thing for me is learning to be divinity walking on earth.
Nice. Thank you, Leslie. How would you, the second part of the question, how do you feel different as a result of your commitment, Jill, to spiritual practice?
I'm now me. I'm not. Wasn't before. I'm not. This is me. This is who I am. And it's that. I think the biggest shock is it's like, wow, am I really that? Am I really that? You know what I mean? And you do question it.
Are you really that huge?
Yes, you do question it. That multi-dimensional, huge, beautiful, light, amazing, fantastic being, and you do question it, and then you're like, wow, I am. And when you are, you're like, oh, it's just beautiful. But I don't feel, I could never go back, if you know what I mean. This is me, and I want to continue working on me, and I want to keep. It's almost like, give me more, just give me more.
So, is that kind of, dedication? Not discipline, because that word's a bit, that dedication to self, that kind of, you're dedicated to yourself.
Yeah, because it's the love, Jerome. That feeling. If we could bottle that feeling and go have a sniff of that, you'd be hooked. It's that feeling. It's that love, and it literally. It's hard to explain.
But to know you are that love. You are that love and light. You aren't, a human being. You're being human.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're having a human experience.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And the next question I'm going to ask, I'll ask it to both of you, and I'll ask one, and then when one of you's done, you pass it on to the other. So, how would you describe your relationship to Ascended Master Chung Fu?
Oh, I love him. Absolutely love him. I can remember the first time hearing him. Leslie played him, and instantly, straight away, this love, this feeling, and it was that feeling of, I knew him, never met him, never heard him before, and it was that feeling of, I just knew him. And then again, it's that it just grows and grows, and we was dead excited. And I remember the first time in a group, we came down to see him, and it was so excited. But it was like we walked through your door, and straight away Sally was there, and instantly that love just hits you. That love, I felt so welcome, so meeting yourself, everybody, everybody, it was so beautiful. And then when Chung Fu came through, oh wow, it's literally like, and I've said it earlier on, he is the best universal granddad that ever is. Because he's so loving, he is so kind, and he's so gentle with you. So, and even if you are struggling to understand him, he will explain it again. You know, and it's like he just knows. You walk in and he taps straight in.
He's like an old friend, isn't he?
Oh, he's more than an old friend, Jerome. He's like, I could eat him. He's lovely.
Thanks, Jill.
I've worked with many, sort of people over the years. I've been doing, and it's like, I have his picture, and I've had people come into my room, look at his picture and burst into tears. And it's so profound, it's so beautiful, and it's like, it's like they said, it's like I know him. and for me that's just so beautiful. That's why I want to share him. I've always wanted, as many people, that's why I take people down to, to see him. This is so important. I think, we're so privileged to have him, sort of within our lives, feel so honoured. And it just makes you feel safe, so nurturing. He's so wise, so funny, so kind, caring, and most of all, so loving. He's just amazing, and he comes straight in the heart. He really does. It's such a beautiful way.
And we always, if we run over on time, we always say we're on Chung Fu time.
And is there, are there any topics, subjects that you're really interested in at the moment that you might like to see Chung Fu bring forward, or is there anything that you are excited about or interested in at the moment?
Atlantis for me at the minute. Loads is coming back up about Atlantis. In fact, I'm coming down to see him in August, and it's like, yes, I know what my questions are going to be. Everything's about Atlantis for me at the minute.
Fantastic. Lovely. Which is
I work such a lot with the archangels, and I know that they've been coming through.
Yeah, they are massively.
And I know that he's been helping to bring them through as well. With beautiful messages. So I'm just really pleased about that, and because I know they're so wanting to work with us. They've often said to me, a lot of people believe in us, they know they're there, but they're not wanting to connect and work with us. We want to help you. That's what they, to bring forward, this amazing wisdom, in the same way. So
you would like to see more angelic realm kind of transmissions coming through, would you?
Absolutely.
Jerome, anything. Absolutely anything, Jerome. You know what we're like? We're straight in.
We love all beings, we love the starseed beings when they come through, there's just...
Absolutely anything.
Even elementals when they come through, it's sort of,
So up north there is they love the angels.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, very much so.
If there's one thing that
is the angels,
and that's why I felt, to go down, sort of they've directed me down that route is with the angels. Yeah.
Oh well, ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure today to talk to you.
No, it's been lovely.
It's been a pleasure.
And is there anything else you want to tell us?
No, much love to you all.
That's awesome. We'll see you again soon.
Okay, Jerome.
Bye,
Lots of love.
Big love. Bye-bye.
Big love.